Turn it up.
I told you now.
Please.
You are worse than me.
Another year is ending. Shey you dey whine me.
Keep it tuned.
All right, so right now we have a guest. His name is Mr. Charles. He's an influencer. He was actually diagnosed with ADHD by the doctor. So he's going to share his story on how the whole thing started for him and what he was experiencing, the symptoms, and everything he was experiencing down to when the doctor diagnosed him, and also what the doctor told him as well, so everyone gets a very good view of what the whole thing is about.
Okay, thank you, Benjamin, for this opportunity. So, ADHD is not something I just noticed yesterday, or it's not something that just popped up out of nowhere and then recently and I just went to have a diagnosis. It has been there. It is congenital, really. But at that moment as a child, it have been there even as a child. So, and at that moment I didn't really know it had a name. I think a lot of people who has ADHD might not even know they have a condition, because it's something that seems like a normal stuff, disciplinary stuff, but it is not, because it is a health condition. So as a child, the first thing I noticed as a child was that I forget things. I forget instructions, especially instructions that does stimulate my attention. Like you might say, don't do this thing, right? And then maybe after like 2 hours, I'll do that same stuff that you asked me not to do. It's not because I don't respect you or I want to just intentionally do it. It is because I forgot. So because of that particular act, the people mislabeled me, really. They'll be like, this boy is stubborn, this boy is he doesn't listen, he's this and that. So because of a lot of people, like as a child, people felt I was stubborn, I don't listen. So they would often beat me, flog me. They felt it was a disciplinary issue instead of a mental health issue. I don't know if you understand me. And I don't really blame anybody, because I personally, I was a child. I didn't know there was a name for it. And in this country, mental health is not something. It's something anybody takes serious in this part of the world. Especially if it's not physical, if you're not physically injured. As far as you can see, you can talk, you're sound, your legs are fine, your hands are fine, right? You're not mad, conventionally crazy, like you don't enter market, you are okay. So another of it is that I have a short attention span, which means I don't like if we're having a conversation and you're not stimulating my attention, you're not catching my attention, I will just zone out. I will mentally leave you there. You might be talking to me, but I'm not even with you. I might be thinking about maybe something else that actually stimulated my attention. Maybe it's a story somebody told me yesterday, or something I'm supposed to do that I forgot somewhere. I'll just be somewhere else while you talk. So it affected me in school as a child then, because the average teacher is always concentrated on his favorite students, the ones at the front. So it's always like this person have his own crew. So when they are talking, you are not even there. You just mentally somewhere else. It affected my academics as a child. It's not because if I meet somebody, right? If I go home and they're talking to me, I can write, I can speak, I'm bright. But then when it comes to the instructor or a teacher actually delivering a lecture, I feel like if this person is not catching my attention, you see me in that particular course, I'm not doing fine, right? So sometimes it may look to some people like this boy is dull, but I wasn't a dull child. So if I meet a teacher that knows how to present his topic, how to tell stories, as a child, they have to tell stories and then teach and all of that, it will catch my attention. You see me excelling properly in that subject. So it was one of the signs I noticed as a child. And then another one is I'm always overly empathetic. I pity people, but at the same when I have a short fuse. I get upset easily. I don't know how to hurt people, but if I feel attacked, I just have the short fuse. I don't have that easy patience to just talk it out. I want to throw hands and fight and do stuff like that. So I was a rough person. I was really but inside of me I was empathetic, right? It was something I didn't understand. I felt like it was a normal stuff, even though everybody, this boy is stubborn. You don't listen. Stop. As a child, though, he's labeling here and there. This one will say that's stubborn. This one will say it's just say no be ogbanje. It's just say it's not possessed. Stuff like that. So as I was growing up, in secondary school, I was still, it was still the same stuff. It was still the same mental struggle and all of it. But then as I became an adult was when I had to find solution to this, because I would always procrastinate. I would mentally leave you if you're not stimulating my attention. Personally, I'm a good problem solver. So I always have a solution to anything. If I see a challenge, right? If I just look at it, I find the best solution. But then the problem most times is how to deliver that solution I found. For example, in a workplace, right? We might have a solution. We might have a problem. And I would mentally picture a solution and then I'll bring it out. But then to deliver that solution in time, right? I'll end up falling behind of a deadline. So it will make somebody, a lot of people, not take my opinion serious, even though it was the best opinion. It was the best, but then I couldn't meet up to that timing. And personally, I'm a stammerer. I don't know. It might be because of all those childhood trauma of mislabeling, assault, or whatever it is. It might be because of it. But I do not know. But I'm a stammerer, and right now, I'm trying to manage how I speak. As you can see, I'm speaking slowly just to be sure I'm being clear. Right. So I procrastinate. I might want to do something and then I'll forget that thing, and then I'll be trying to remember that particular thing I'm trying to do. Then something else will take my attention as I'm doing that one, another one will take my attention. It will just be all over I'll just be all over the place because I want to remember that first initial stuff I want to do. Maybe it is after 3 hours, I'll come back and remember. Sometimes I will walk into a room. I want to get something in a room. Then I'll walk into a room and then I totally forgot what I want to come and get in this room. I will go outside. I want to do other things just to remember I'm going to take something. Maybe it will be like 2 hours or 1 hour. I remember I want to go and take my brush from this room. Then I'll go in and take it. You see? So it is one of the, and all those things is something that when you tell people, it is normal. Even me, I do experience it now. A lot of people are suffering from this thing, but they don't understand. And as a person, it will disorganize you. It will disorganize you. It will make you fail in your work, your job, and whatever you're doing. This will affect you. So these are the things that I've experienced. Impulsiveness, emotional. How do I even put this? Sometimes I'm hyperactive, emotional, because it's okay. If I'm excited, very excited, I tend to ignore some signs and then become impulsive. If I'm so sad, I'm very emotional, very, very sad, I tend to be impulsive too, right? So, and it is a common stuff that if you're an impulsive person, you are going to have an addiction because you will try to manage your anxiety or whatever you are feeling at that moment, right? You will try to manage it with either a drug or drink or whatever it is. But I don't have an addiction. I don't have an addiction at all. I don't have addiction. I drink, I smoke, but I'm not addicted. I can just, it should just be something once in 2 weeks stuff. It's not something that it must be, if I don't take this then I won't be able to function, right? So a lot of people with ADHD don't know, are not because most people want to link it with addiction. No, people with ADHD do not know how to keep to addictions because it requires dedication, right? And you are not there. So when you it's a funny stuff. So it is saving you while it is destroying you, right? So you cannot be addicted to anything. Anyone with ADHD can never be addicted to anything. They can easily pop out of any whatever addiction. He might okay, this week I want to drink, right? I'll drink. But he will next week, I don't want to drink again, and then that is it. There is no addiction to anything. It's transferred into even in a relationship. Someone with ADHD might be in a relationship, so in love with somebody, so invested in somebody. So there will be a lot of emotional stress. He will persevere, but once he just says I'm out, it is like that. They can never. It's not something that I cannot do without this thing. No, he will always pop out and continue and do whatever he wants. It's not. They cannot dedicate something and then this thing. Yeah. So it is a problem. So these are the signs I noticed before I started to research, and then I started to see that this is a condition and there's actually a name for it. Then after a name, there is something I can do to manage it. There's something I can do to kind of be a more productive person, a better person. I could remember more because if you search on the internet right now, they'll say, don't worry, ADHD, you can put all your plans in a paper. You can write it down so you remember. That paper, when you write it down, I swear to God, that paper you wrote it down, you end up misplacing it. That paper, that thing, you need somebody with ADHD needs a coach, somebody that will put pressure on them. That is why, it is like if anybody with ADHD need a caregiver, right? How do I put that word? So somebody that cheer them, that pressure them. Hey, look, remember that stuff you want to do? Go and do it now. No, okay, he will say, I'll do it. Don't worry, let me finish. No, I want you to do it right now, right now, before you forget. Right? You see the thing? Now he will go and do that thing. He will become more productive. Instead of letting him write it down at his own time. At that his own time, you will forget that thing, that book that he wrote somewhere, and that is it. So that is some of the symptoms I noticed. Yeah, for the medications, there is only one medication I've taken. Ritalin is the name, and it works massively. It works excellent. It calms your nerve. It makes you focus. It just stabilizes your mood and all of that, right? So it is fine. But the issue is that you have to find your dosage, and it's very expensive. I think a tab that's 30 mg in this country is like 20k, so it's very expensive. So I'm not onto it for like, I've not been on it for a while now, and I'm fine. I've been doing fine. I've been kind of articulating everything I'm doing. So it does it. And also to manage it, you need to map out your plans. Like personally, I have a site, Notion, they call it Notion. It is where I kind of map out all my activities for a week. So where I get my notifications, alarm, because if you're a person with ADHD, you need alarm, a constant reminder that something. So I'll put alarms to remind me of something I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do them, and then I'll put the first alarm, second alarm, and third alarm, initial alarm, just in case I forget. In case I ignore the first one, I can remember the final one. So you understand. And then I write stuff. I write it down. ADHD is sophisticated, so it's not only limited to hyperactivity. They can have ADHD with anxiety, ADHD without hyperactivity, ADHD with depression, ADHD with a lot of things, right? So it is broad. So and in this country there is no much attention paid to it, and it's a problem. I think it's a pandemic, because a lot of people are facing this thing, and nobody and they don't even know they are facing it, and it's really affecting their entire life. And you see smart people that could excel in life, they are not doing it. They are not utilizing all their potentials, because something is dragging them, something is weighing them because of this particular ADHD. They become overly emotional. They suffer emotional trauma more than the normal person. For example, in a relationship, when somebody that has ADHD loves you, or they're in a relation with you, and there's a breakup, they suffer this more emotional stress and trauma, and it's very hard for them to move on and pick up themselves, right? Because normally on a normal day they are disorganized, they are struggling to kind of organize their schedules, and then an external force, emotional trauma is in it, so it destabilizes them. So in conclusion, the medication I take, Ritalin, but it's expensive. I've not been on this for a while. Also, you have to look for, articulate your event, whatever you want to do. You can, there is an application, they call it Notion, right? I use it on my laptop and on my phone to kind of write out, in the army, I kind of write out my duties, my schedules, whatever it is, my assignments, whatever I have to do, right? I write everything down with alarms just to remind me and to articulate whatever event I have to, whatever task I have to do. So that is it. Thank you.
Alright guys, so that's about it on the show. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget you can connect with us on social media, all over social media, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and YouTube. We have our YouTube channel at Batterbox Podcast, and you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at BatterboxNG. BatterboxNG, yeah, that's the handle to follow. Or I will come your way next time with another amazing podcast. My name is Benji. Bye for now.
Turn up. I told you now.
You are worse than me.
Another year is ending. Sure, you didn't whine me.